Hello and welcome to Discovering Grays Lake, unveiling the stories and people that make our town so unique. I'm your host, David Wool, and I'm thrilled to bring you this new podcast that explores fascinating stories and experiences of local business owners and community leaders, right here where we call home. It's time to unleash your style with custom shirts. Explore endless possibilities with Jammin' Tees. Whether it's for schools, business, team, or events, Jammin' Tees has you covered, literally, for all your custom apparel needs. Hey there, Grays Lake. Looking for a good time right in the heart of our awesome community? Well, look no further than the Grays Lake Village Center, your one-stop destinations for all things fun and fabulous. Picture this. Historic downtown vibes with a mix of diverse businesses, shopping galore, and restaurants that'll make your taste buds dance. But that's not all. The Village Center is where the action is, with events happening year-round for the whole family. Take a stroll through Central Park, Gelatin Park, surrounded by trails, green spaces, and more activities than you could shake a sledding hill at. And when the weather warms up, dive into the Grays Lake Aquatic Center for some splash-tastic fun. But wait, there is more. Visit GraysLakeVillageCenter.com to discover the incredible lineup of events happening every month. Want the 411 delivered straight to your inbox? Sign up for the Grays Lake Village Center digital newsletter on the website, or check out their Facebook page for the latest happenings. Be in the know. Not sure what you're waiting for? Come on down, soak in the local vibes, and enjoy the experience that's unmistakably Grays Lake. Grays Lake Village Center, where the fun never stops. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Grays Lake. We are sitting here at Agora Co-working, right on the corner of Atkinson and Center Street. We'd like to thank Luke for having us here. So at Agora Co-working, if you guys need an office for a day, for a month, or a place just to call home, Luke's happy to help you guys out. So it's a great concept to bring to Grays Lake, and we love it here. So thanks to Agora for having us. I get the pleasure here because you got me up too early, man. Just so you know, just so you know, I'm here with Mike Steiner. How are you, buddy?
Good, Dave. Thanks.
Good. Me and you've been talking about getting you on here for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen each other at a ton of different chamber events and all kinds of different stuff. So I want to let you know what you do for a living. I find completely fascinating.
All right. Well, thanks. So got to try to stop saying
No, it's okay. I say it all the time. So you're perfectly fine.
I have a in-home care agency, and it's called Right at Home, and we provide caregiving services to the elderly and disabled adults. It's non-medical care. Just celebrated our 10th anniversary this past summer with a huge party in our office. It was like a Christmas in July party.
Love it. Love it.
Came out. It was nice. And before doing that, I was with Motorola for over 20 years, and prior to that, the Navy. So I use a lot of those skills that I've learned in the military as well as at Motorola in project management and corporate with Right at Home, and things have been going extremely well.
Okay. So how do you transfer? We're going to go this, and then we'll go back a little bit further. So you're working at Motorola. And then you make the change to Right at Home. How does that happen? Did you just decide one day you needed to do something different?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's actually kind of funny because one day Motorola, as many of us know, has gone downhill. In the first 10 years, it was going really well. It was awesome. Did a lot of traveling, worked with lots and lots of folks. And then the second 10 years plus, it was going downhill, lots of layoffs, missteps by management. And the product that I was managing was our one of our phones in China. Okay. And that phone line was canceled. And so I knew that time was going to happen soon where I was going to be let go. So one day, my boss's boss flew in from Beijing, called me in his office, and he said, Mike, it's time. We got to let you go. I tell you, I had the biggest smile on my face. I was so happy. I mean, frankly, I was making too much to just quit at the time, not knowing what I was going to do.
Sure.
So when I was let go, I got a 7-month severance package. So medical, dental, and paychecks for 7 months. That was fantastic. I felt like I won the lottery.
Right.
a clean start,
fresh
start.
It was. So I did that, and then after about a week, I'm wondering, holy crap, what am I going to do next? I forgot to mention, a year prior to that, I got divorced, and I had residential custody of my son.
Wow.
So
you had a lot on your plate and a lot of decisions to make.
I did. One of my mother's friends worked in the healthcare industry.
Okay.
And her daughter was interested in getting into project management. So they invited me over, and we talked about both. Project management to give her daughter some information about that, and then healthcare or home care for me. I looked into it. There were several different franchise systems, and I felt that that's the way I wanted to go with a franchise because there's so much I didn't know about running a business.
Okay.
But I felt that I could do it because of my project management experience. And I looked at different, I looked at different franchisees and found that Right at Home had an open territory in my backyard. So I couldn't move anywhere because of my son, divorce situation.
Right.
And this just seemed absolutely perfect. I did my research. I spoke with all of my neighbors, if you will, the Right at Home neighbors in the Chicagoland area, and went to the corporate office in Omaha, met with those guys. I was extremely skeptical. I had no idea about franchise systems. When I got to Omaha on my own time, they call it Discovery Day in the franchise world, I'm sitting with one of the leaders over there. I think it was leadership of franchise development or something like that. And he asked me what I thought. I said, I'm still not sure. And then he looks me straight in the eye and says, well, then why are you even here? I'm like, well,
that's a pretty valid question, I guess.
That's great. You know, it's like, well, I don't know if they just would let anybody come in to take it, and they just wanted money out of my pocket, because you got to pay a fee to be part of a franchise system.
Right.
And it was pretty substantial. So I ended up going forward, put all the chips in the center, and decided to purchase the franchise. And now I had to determine where it was going to be. And with the franchise system, they gave me suggestions, some places to start. I looked around and contacted a realtor. I can't remember who it was at first. And they had suggested to see Robert Frank.
Ah, how funny.
So I talked to Robert. Fast forward, I moved into his building, which was it was on Hawley, also known as the, oh my God, what's the name of the sign out in front? The Command Building, right next door to the fire department.
Yeah.
So I started there with one other person, and we were just moving forward with recruiting caregivers and marketing for clients. And that's how I started. Sorry, long answer for a quick question.
No, that's great. You know what? And these are the things about business and that I think a lot of people don't understand. Maybe if they're at a Motorola or something that they work 9 to 5 where it's completely secure. Well, what they think is secure until they get let go.
Right.
But as a single father with responsibilities towards your son and putting all your chips on the table and going, this is what I'm going to do, and something that's going to mean something to the community and you're going to be able to help people. So that's a big leap.
I love working with people and helping people and getting involved. Lou Frank at the time told me about the Exchange Club. So prior to I rented the place out, and I had to apply for my license, and I had a few months prior to even starting. And Lou introduced me to the Exchange Club. I ended up joining that. Robert Frank introduced me to a guy named Ron Runkle, who was an elder law attorney who had since passed.
Right.
His office was right on Center Street across from the Churchill's. And Ron was awesome. We got along so well, not just because of our businesses, but we're both veterans. So we had quite a few things in common.
Sounds like a great connection.
He really was. He was awesome. I just loved to just sit and chat with him and talk about life.
Right.
So he'd passed several years ago, but he was a super nice guy. Being part of the Exchange Club, I got involved with so many other things, the Beer Fest and the Craft Festival and so many other activities. I really I really appreciated getting involved with the community and helping others with
Grays
that.
Lake, are you ready for some nonstop fun with the Grays Lake Park District? Hundreds of classes, programs, community events, all designed to keep those smiles shining. Explore over 240 acres of parks, each a playground of excitement. Safety is their priority, ensuring a good time for all ages. From kids to the young at heart, the Grays Lake Park District has something for everyone. Grab your seasonal program guide for memories that'll last a lifetime. Your adventure begins with the Grays Lake Park District, where fun knows no limits.
Hello, Grays Lake. It's Randy Cashmore with Cashmore Financial Group. It's no secret that I love our village, and a big reason for that is my membership with the Grays Lake Chamber of Commerce. If you haven't taken a look at the Grays Lake Chamber lately, you should. We're a wonderful group of business people creating a positive difference in the village we call home. Reach out and get involved today. You'll be glad you did.
Right at home started to increase. We started getting more and more clients, getting more caregivers, and it's just began to snowball after that.
That's awesome. I want you to answer a couple questions for me before we go further. So, you guys invited me. I came and spoke at the Exchange Club. So when I was going to the Exchange Club meeting, I asked a couple people. I'm like, what the hell is the Exchange Club? So since you're a member of that, could you? Because I'm sure there's people in the community that don't understand what the Exchange Club does.
Mm-hmm. So we meet every week. It's on Thursdays at noon for lunch, and anybody is welcome to come and check it out. Come and have lunch and see. The overall mission is to raise money for the prevention of child abuse.
Oh.
And that can take so many different forms. We give money to the high schools and have Student of the Month and then Student of the Year. And we give them a lot of money. The beer fest that we do is to raise money to give away. And almost everything we do is to do just that.
That's
and
awesome.
It's fun. Networking is important for business. The Exchange Club is not a traditional networking organization. I knew that. I didn't care. I just wanted to be part of the community, and that is such a way to do that. Unlike BNI or other types of organizations where
you guys are very focused.
It's less personal, I think.
Right.
Whereas the Exchange is just, I've made several friendships there, met a lot of folks, and it's been very fun. Jack Rickman, after a few years, I was with Exchange, tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Hey, Mike, how'd you like to be president?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, Jack." So I ended up taking him up on it, and I should say before that I was on the board of directors. Someone asked me to do that, and I did that. That was fine. And then I ended up becoming president for a year, and it was good term. Enjoyed it. Continue to stay with the Exchange, and but I didn't hold any board positions after that for quite a while. And then I think it was sometime last year, Gail Will asked if I wanted. Well, she didn't ask if I wanted to be on the board. She said, "Mike, come and join the board again. We could really use you." And I said, "Gail, I'd love to, but I'm traveling a lot now. I don't know how many meetings I can make."
Right.
So she said, "That's okay. We really need you. We'd love to have you." So I ended up doing that too.
Wow, it's funny how we get roped into things like that, right? Then you got to. I'm sure you enjoyed it, but
I did, and I heard. I can't remember which podcast I heard, but someone had mentioned that in an organization there's only a very small percentage of people that do all the volunteer work, and I totally get that, and it's sad. It sucks. And I think it's important for that group of people, not just to volunteer, but to reach out and ask others to help. Because they're going to listen. Just at the chamber meeting the other day at First Draft, was it the inauguration? Or that? So I was there, and I'm on the volunteer committee for the art event, wine and art event that's coming up in, I think it's June.
Yeah.
And I am just starting now to ask for volunteers. And I recall during the event at First Draft the other day, Tim Rafferty had stepped down from the chamber, and he was all done with that. So I went up to him and I said, "So Tim, are you still done with everything?" He says, "Oh no, I'll still do some stuff." I said, "Great. How would you like to volunteer for the art show?"
What did Rafferty say?
He said, "Sure, okay." So I pulled out my phone and I said, "Okay, what time slot would you like?" He said, "Just put me on whichever." So I got him on there.
He's such a great dude.
He is.
He really is. Okay, so anybody looking for volunteers, the way Mike did that is the absolute best way to do it. You hit them, you ask them, you bring out your phone, you schedule it in, and then they're committed.
That's right.
So that's recruiting. I like that.
Dave.
Oh my!
Gotcha.
I would love to volunteer.
Great.
You give me the time slot before we're done. I'll sign up to
thanks.
volunteer.
That's great. See, guys, that's how to do it.
Right, exactly. And I'm on recording. How am I supposed to say no? So even better recruiting, Mike.
I know.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're part of the chamber then too.
Yes.
So are you on the board? Or are you on?
So I'm on the board. Mary Beth, who I had known for years.
How'd you meet Mary Beth?
I met Mary Beth when I was still at Motorola. I was living in Lindenhurst at the time. Actually, I was living on Lake Villa at the time. And I had joined a gym to work out at, and there was this boot camp program that I was involved with, and that's where I met Mary Beth. And it was tough, this boot camp. I think I got injured more than I got fit. So that's how I met her. And then when I left Motorola and started right at home and joined the exchange, I met her there. Got along, and then Mary Beth started with the chamber, and a couple of years ago she called me and she says, "Mike, why don't you join the board? We'd like to have you." So I went ahead and did that.
Right. Mike's a yes guy, by the way. If you need something, let's just...
Ouch.
I'm
working on that.
Nobody ask him anything.
I'm working on trying to say no.
But that's cool because you knew her from before. So then your position on the board, I think that anybody that listens to this show is starting to understand how much the chamber does and the things that you guys do that are great for our community. Because I didn't know anything. I just assume things. So it's nice to see a excellent group of people that are out really for the good of Grays Lake. Mm-hmm. You guys are doing a hell of a job.
Mary Beth is fantastic. She has really turned it around. I wasn't part of the chamber when I first came to Grays Lake. I've probably only been part of the chamber for maybe 4 or 5 years or so.
Nice. A way to step up and get involved.
It's a great organization, and I really like the things that we're doing. And what I also like is in my particular business, in working with seniors, it gives me an opportunity to meet others so I can refer. I work with so many seniors who have needs. They need handyman work. They may need painting, anything. I mean, all sorts of stuff. Personally, I just am purchasing some flooring from one of the guys who recently held a chamber meeting. What's his? Had his card here. But
so it's nice that you make those connections there too.
Yeah.
Which is great. So I want to get back just a little bit because I know we're bouncing around, folks. Deal with us. Just deal with us. So right at home, I think care of seniors is something that seems to be neglected in our country as well. And not everybody has a strong family that people can come in and help them out with their day-to-day needs. So, tell me about like who calls you? What kind of services do they need that you guys provide?
So I want to start by saying, I'd say over 90% of the phone calls we receive are from the adult children whose parents need some help, and they have no idea where to go and what to do. Today, when someone has a kid, a baby, you can ask your parents, you can ask your friends, what do I do? My kid's doing this. Excuse me, my kid's doing that. But when our parents need some help, or grandparents, we have no clue.
No.
There's not a lot of places to turn. I had no idea this type of business existed. So what we do is we provide help, caregivers. So we hire caregivers. We do background checks. We do all sorts of vetting of the caregivers. And when we have a client, we do a detailed assessment, and then we match that client with a caregiver, or 2 or 3, depending upon the situation. The caregiver goes into the home and helps with things such as personal care, meaning bathing or showering or toileting, hands-on stuff, all non-medical, as well as companion care, things such as making meals, light housekeeping. We're not a cleaning service, so it's light housekeeping, transportation, and everything in between. And it's extremely rewarding, because when I was at Motorola, we were making products people go ahead and buy, and this is so much different. It's helping people. I sleep well at night. I wake up, I look back to see all of the people that we've helped, and it's just it's magical. It really is. I love it. I found my passion, and it's so cool.
You should see the smile on his face. That's great, because you ease the burden. I hate to say the word burden, but like an adult child, like my father's 86 years old. At some point, he lives by himself, and he would kill me before I put him in a assisted living facility or anything like that, because probably these are people that want to be at home as long as they possibly can, but can't do it on their own all the time.
Right.
Yes.
We have a lot of folks that are in that situation where they're not sure if they want to go to assisted living, memory care, or things like that, or even nursing homes. And I'll help explain it. We've got, this business of helping the elderly, non-medical, is so big that my competitors and we don't compete for clients. We compete for the caregivers. Wow. And that is the biggest challenge, recruiting and retaining them. Wow. And so when I moved from the Kuman building to the one on 45 it's at the end of Center, next to Mobile, the Mobile station, it was with the intent and the design of making a welcoming area for our caregivers. We keep the refrigerator stocked. We're constantly buying all sorts of snacks. We tell them to come by anytime when they're working or not. They bring their kids. I've got a huge backyard. It used to be the Little Lakes Daycare. Right. And when they removed the big jungle gym thing in the backyard, we put in a massive garden. Actually, my son, I'm not going to take the credit. He asked if he could do it, and I said, yep, I'll write the check, but I am not pulling weeds. I don't want to take care of it as long as you take care of it. So he and a lot of the office staff take care of that garden, and it's massive. So we let all of our caregivers know, come by anytime, grab whatever you like, tomatoes, cucumbers, even we had pumpkins this year. Wow. Corn, beans, all sorts of stuff. Wow.
So you're marketing for your caregivers better than you are for the clients.
You know what?
You got to do what you got to do, right?
When we sign up a client now, we always tell them, we say, this is all about setting expectations. We say, we want at least 2 weeks to get you staffed. Now, granted, sometimes we'll receive an emergency call. Hey, my mom's getting out of the hospital tomorrow. Can you help? We'll go ahead and do that. And it may not be the exact best match at the time, but we figure a way to make that happen. Right. I've got a lot of competitors and other right-at-home offices that we can tap on the shoulder for backup if needed. Sometimes we do that, backup caregivers, if you will. So that's been helpful, but the 2 weeks allows us to move into getting that client served as quickly as possible.
And it's nice, I'm sure, because the match between your client and the caregiver is a super important part of making it work and making it work for everybody.
It is. Just so I have a few stories, and one of them I'll never. This is just amazing because it was early in the early days when I started, and we were taking care of this woman who was in hospice, and our caregiver Tawanda, I'll never forget her. She had the biggest smile. When the client passed away, I had gone to the funeral. And I'll tell you, I've gone to so many funerals. It's sad, but it's a celebration of life most of the time, sure. and I've gotten used to that, and it's nice. So I went to the funeral, and the daughter and her siblings were saying, "Oh, this is Mike with Right at Home. He's the one that took care of Mom," and all this. And then Tawanda walks in. And I'll tell you, it almost felt like they were just pushing me aside, saying, "Oh my God, here's Tawanda. She's the one that did this for Mom and that for Mom." Oh. I'll tell you, she was crying, I was crying. It was just, sure. Oh my God, it was just such a heartwarming event, knowing the impact that we made, not just on Mom, but the whole family. And yeah. We're not here, and now you have this discussion with the adult children. We're not here to replace the kids.
No.
We're here to help them, because way too many times I've seen sons and daughters or spouses just getting so burnt out,
sure,
crispy fried, that it's a contentious relationship, and it's important to recharge your batteries. I always mention when you're on an airplane and things go bad and those oxygen masks come down, they always tell you to put yours on first before you put it on your child's, because you can't take care of them if you're not taking care of yourself. And that's the same with taking care of your parents or grandparents and things like that.
Do you have pushback where people wait a longer time to do this because they're trying to do everything themselves and they probably get frustrated with their parent, or because they try to take on too much because they think it's their sole responsibility, until they get to the point where they actually reach out for help?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I can sympathize.
I had somebody come into my office last night. Their mother has dementia, and it's a blended family. So they've got her kids,
right.
There's his kids, and how Mom and Dad relate to one another.
Right.
Mom could use the help. Dad is not yet ready.
Mm-hmm.
Son and daughter-in-law are not sure which direction to go. I gave some suggestions, and that's fine. If they want to move ahead right now, they can. If they don't have to. I'm not going to get into too many details of that, since it's so new. But I don't mind. I mean, that's just, look, if they decide not to move forward with me, that's totally okay. Someone's going to ask them at some time, "What do you recommend? Your mom has dementia."
Of course.
They're going to say, "Oh, you know what? Go talk to Mike. He was super helpful."
Yeah, because your job has to be compassionate and caring and informing them, but in a way so they feel comfortable. Because it's like when you look for childcare for your baby, like you have to trust someone
Absolutely.
to take care of your and maybe even more importantly, that when you know your mom or your dad, and if they're stubborn or what they're going to have to deal with, that they're going to need someone that matches them to make sure that they're comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've taken care of police officers and so many other public officials, and it's kind of neat because we know that they either have or can do complete background checks on all of us, including me, and it's a comfort because when we share some of the information, and we, obviously with HIPAA and all that, we can't share any kind of names or anything like that, but we know that that when we say, we've taken care of, sometimes they let us know. They said, oh, use my name. Totally okay. I still don't feel good about that.
Right.
It's just,
right.
I don't like name dropping on that. But it's nice to know that the folks that we've helped feel good, and they are available as references. So that's right. How we do
That's nice. I imagine that with the care that you're doing, too, that a lot of these elderly people probably like the companionship of having somebody at their home, too, to hang out with and to talk to why they're being cared for. Because a lot of times they're probably lonely.
That's a big part of it. Not as big as one might think. I mean, they do have, I shouldn't say that. The relationships that they build from the companionship is massive. That typically doesn't happen initially because there's trust. Right. And a lot of seniors, as all of us, have
I don't need anybody taking care of me, right? Who is this person?
Oh, absolutely. Right. So the trust issue is huge, but when they start building a relationship, it's magical as well. We had one client with her memory started getting the best of her. She didn't have full onset dementia. She used to go downtown to the Lyric Opera and Chicago Symphony Orchestra. She would hop on the train and she'd come back. Well, she started getting on the wrong train a couple times.
Oh, no.
Her daughter was freaking out, so they hired us, and our job was to accompany her to the concerts.
Wow.
I'm not going to require my clients to buy tickets, and I'm not going to require my caregivers to purchase. I'm not going to pay for them either.
Right.
So caregiver would go down there. They'd sit in the lobby. They'd wait for the concert to be over or intermission, meet the client again after that, or go pick them up in the chair from there where they were sitting, and go out for coffee and then hop on the right train.
That's great. Providing safe transportation and let them continue doing the things they love.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And dementia in itself that's really tough. There's been a lot of stigma associated with it. I mean, when we were kids, they would call it senile or crazy. And now with so much advancement in the area and studies, there's been a lot of effort towards dementia. And I don't know if you're aware, but the term dementia is more of a symptom than an actual disease. If you picture in your mind's eye an umbrella, call that dementia. And underneath that umbrella are the actual diseases. Alzheimer's, frontal temporal is a disease. Parkinson's is a form of dementia. Mixed medications is a form of dementia that could be reversed if they're on the right type of meds. Depression can be a form of dementia, and alcoholism can result in a form of dementia. So when a physician says someone has dementia, it's just a high level that they haven't identified the specific area yet. A lot of people don't know that, and that's kind of helps it, because I've heard people say, oh, my mom has Alzheimer's, not dementia. And I mean, it's just a minor clarification, but when I explain that, then they understand a little bit better.
Sure. Wow. To educate them as well is a huge thing. Wow. What a rewarding job. And for someone that, and anybody that's met Mike, you're a kind man, and I can see how this is like perfect for you. I think it's fantastic because I can see your passion, and when I see you talk about it, you just light up. So it's very cool. I want to talk about one other thing. So if somebody that's listening to this that may need your services, first thing I think of, okay, great. I know that there'll be a point that I might need something like that. How do people pay for it? Is there any insurance things? If they're a veteran or anything like that, is there any other things that go in to assist people?
Great question. The answer is yes. So most people, unfortunately, it's family pay or private pay. Mm-hmm. However, there are lots of other ways to pay as well. Veterans. The VA can pay for our services for a veteran.
Wow.
as a veteran myself, I really kind of dug into that to understand it more, and I love helping the vets.
I
got a funny story about a vet, and I'll share that in a minute.
Right.
I mean, it's awesome. So there's been a few articles written about what I've done to help, and during our intake process, we'll always ask if they're a veteran. And if they are, we get really excited because many of the vets that we encounter don't even know about these benefits that exist. So we literally handhold them through the process and walk them through the process. And they can I have some vets that are up to 20 or even more hours per week that the VA pays for. And we send our invoices directly to the VA. So it's not like any kind of reimbursement that's needed.
Wow.
There's 3 major benefits. One is the homemaker that I was talking about. Another is respite, where they currently get about 180 hours per year. And then another is Veterans Aid and Attendance, which can help pay for not just a veteran, but a spouse or even a surviving spouse under certain conditions. So those benefits are awesome. And we've helped many, probably hundreds of people get those benefits. There's long-term care insurance. Long-term care insurance is extremely difficult to understand. So one of the things, and this took me many years to figure out, is what we'll do is we'll review someone's long-term care policy. This is what I was talking to Randy Cashmore about. Yeah. And we'll, I hate using the term, but we'll dumb it down. We'll write it in words that we can understand it. So I make my little cheat sheet, put it together, meet with the client to go over it so they understand what the policy is, and then we get on a 3-way call with the insurance company so my client can understand from the lips of the insurance company my understanding. Because I don't want, if my understanding is incorrect, I don't want them coming back to me. Mike, you said this.
Right.
No,
right.
It's directly with the insurance company validating what I said. There's also different grants that can be used to pay for care, depending upon the illness. Sometimes people who work in large companies, the employee assistance program or plan that they have can help pay. There are grants available through the Area Agency on Aging that may be available. So the Area Agency on Aging was funded by the Older Americans Act that was signed by Congress in 65, 63 or 5 or something like that. They give money to the states. The states give money to local area agencies on aging. They actually saw what I've been doing, and they asked me to join their board, and they interviewed me.
Oh, my gosh.
And they asked me 2 questions. They said is, Mike, and they asked me, one of the questions was, why would you like to be part of this? And I said 2 reasons. One is it'll give me a whole bunch of resources that I can share with my clients.
Okay.
And 2, I'm not getting any younger. If I have any say in paving my way to seniordom, I want to do that.
Right.
And I've been on the board for several years now.
Wow. So you're in this deep. You know all kinds of stuff.
I'm involved with the Home Care Association of America, the legislative committee. We review bills every week that are put in through Illinois. And
wow.
I love it.
Wow. And the fact that, because you're a busy guy.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to share this thing about the veteran
story
real quick. So there was a veteran that needed some help. I went to his house, and he was Army. I go to the door. This big guy opens the door, and he says, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Mike from Right at Home." Right. He says, I heard you were coming here. You're a Navy guy. You're a sailor, right?" I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Well, I was a Marine." I said, "Whenever we needed someone to dance with, we grabbed one of you sailors." Now, I'm a short guy. This guy he's probably 6'5", 6 or something, but very meaty, big guy. So I looked up at him, and I said, and remember, I hadn't known this guy maybe less than 3 minutes. And I said, yeah, you know, I really wanted to join the Marines, but I couldn't pass the physical. And he looks at me kind of bewildered and like, why? And I said, I couldn't fit my head into a jar. And he's stunned. He looks at me and he just burst out laughing. He says, I like you.
That's awesome. How to go to break the ice and change the dynamic of that conversation really fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, all branches, we always dog one another.
Yeah.
But we're all in it together.
All in it together at the same time. That's awesome. All right, we're going to take a little break here because we are going to hop over. I know you've listened to episodes, so we are going over to do a quick Grays Lake hot seat because our time is flying here.
It's time for the Grays Lake Hot Seat. The Grays Lake Hot Seat today is brought to you by Premier Chiropractic. Dr. John, conveniently located in historical downtown Grays Lake. Premier Chiropractic offers you a full range of chiropractic care. John is dedicated to treating people within our community and showing them the benefit of great, convenient, affordable chiropractic care. So if you're looking to get straightened out, go see Dr. John at Premier Chiropractic. Now for the Grays Lake Hot Seat.
So I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. And we'll see what you come up with. Now, you've cheated a little bit because you've listened to so much, so now I'm going to have to really dig in deep with these questions for you. So here is our Grays Lake Hot Seat with Mike Steiner. Name a celebrity that you've met.
Jack Nicholson.
No way.
Yep.
That's awesome. How in the hell do you meet Jack Nicholson?
My uncle is a doctor in California, and at my cousin's wedding, he was there.
Wow.
And so that's how I met him. It was pretty cool.
How cool.
I was friends with my uncle.
That's awesome. What's the last thing you purchased on Amazon?
I can't remember, honestly.
Wow.
There's been a lot.
Because you shop local. That's why.
Yes. Right? Yeah, that's it. I shop local.
I'm just here to help.
Thank you.
Do you have a nickname?
Mike.
Okay. Let's see. We'll just jump up here. If you had to have a superpower, what would it be?
It's funny. I always, I'll say the Invisible Man.
Okay.
I always kind of tease my girlfriend and family. They say, what are you going to be for this holiday or that holiday? And I'm going to be the Invisible Man, so I don't have to show up.
Or you could say that you were there and didn't.
Yeah.
Right? What was your first car?
It was it was blue. It was a Chrysler of some sort. I can't remember exactly, but I do remember wrapping it around a tree, and that's how I got this scar.
Nice.
Brakes didn't work.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. If you
67 Plymouth Belvedere, that's what it was.
67 Plymouth Belvedere.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so from 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
Oh, I'm a great driver.
Well, now after you get rid of as long as it has brakes, you'll be fine with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you play a sport in high school?
I did. I wrestled and did pretty good in my younger years and placed fourth in state.
Nice.
Went to college on a scholarship.
So you wrestled in college too?
I wrestled in college.
Where'd you go to college at?
Southern Illinois at Edwardsville.
Nice. And you wrestled?
Yes. I went there on a scholarship. Wow. I didn't stay 2.5 years.
Wow.
And then when I was in the Navy, I ended up doing some intramural wrestling. And
fun.
They sent me the all-Navy wrestling camp. I made that.
Wow.
Then they sent me to West Point Military Academy to wrestle there. And
holy cow.
I could have stayed. They asked me to stay and try out for Olympics and World Games, but I didn't want to. I wanted to continue. I didn't want to wrestle my whole life. I wanted to work on computers. That's where I learned computers in the Navy.
Interesting. And then we wrestle with life the rest of our life.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite Grays Lake event?
I think my favorite event has been.
You must be a little
Beer
biased,
Fest.
right?
I am. I mean, the Beer Fest is a blast.
Yeah.
I really like that. Summer days, I like that. There's so many. I really love Grays Lake. There's so much to do.
So much, and the events are awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So speaking of that, if you had to bring somebody from out of town or a famous person into town to our beautiful town of Grays Lake, where would you take them first to show them how cool it is?
Well, I just did that now. Or this past summer, we went out to the Vine and had lunch in the new area in the backyard where Mike put all that.
Yeah, in the patio.
Yeah, the patio.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Awesome. It's so cool back there. I love the constantly changing, constantly making it better. Would the 12-year-old version of yourself think you're cool?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you wish you learned sooner?
I wish sooner the helping people and the impact that it makes, not just on them, but on you or on me.
Right.
I didn't really realize that when I was younger, and it's just been a game changer for me.
Yeah. And it's huge. And when you listen to things like Joyce Campbell's podcast and things like that, it made me feel terrible about myself that I needed to do more for our community and for my neighbors, but also inspiring that, kindness spreads.
It does. Joyce has asked me to get involved with different
How do you say
too.
How do you say no to Joyce Campbell? You don't, right? Joyce, if you're listening, we appreciate you and everything you do, and she's still continuing to do great things. What's your middle name?
David.
Hey, great name.
Yeah, I love it.
And so, besides being invisible, the answer might be invisibility. If you had to have a theme party at your house, what would it be?
A theme party. I think monsters, zombies. I like the zombie stuff.
Nice. We have a zombie party. That's the first time I've heard that one. Let's go for it. And once again, I'll say, can I please be invited?
Absolutely.
I would love to come. All right. I had one great one here. Have you ever won an award?
Yes.
You don't have to be shy about this. I'm asking you questions. So your favorite award that you've won. Or a list of them.
Just recently in the past few months, we've won for the 9th year in a row, provider of choice and employer of choice for our business, for Right at Home. The only company in Lake County that's ever achieved that recognition. There's been several others awards for that our head office, the corporation, has recognized my contributions to not just the community, but a lot of other things that I am involved with. Home Care Association, Area Agency on Aging or Age Guide, and several others that they've given me awards for that. Wrestling, tons of awards. I wrestled in the Maccabea Games, which is like a Jewish Olympics, and took a gold medal from there. That was a pretty cool one.
So wrestling was a big part of your life?
It was.
Wow. That's really cool. And I know that wrestlers, the training that you have to do and everything to keep you disciplined like that has probably helped. Those skills have probably brought you further in your life for everything.
It's determination. It's determination, believing in yourself, and just do it.
Right.
Just do it.
Wow. It's fun how sports can overlap and teach us those lessons. All right, we're going to end it right there because there's some other things I want to talk about, and I know that we're getting on our time. So it looks like some of the research I did on here, you've done a lot of different traveling too. Is that all because of the Navy? Mostly in the Navy. No, I shouldn't even say that. Mostly Motorola. In the Navy, I was stationed on the USS Puget Sound, which was at the time one of the first ships that allowed women on board. So the ship's nickname, one of the nicknames, was the Love Boat. Oh my God. We were home ported in Gaeta, Italy. Oh yeah, it was great. We had 1,500 people on the ship, 1,100 men, 400 women. Some of the men were more feminine than some of the women, and some of the women were more masculine than some of the men. This sounds everyone got along. We could have a TV show about that. Oh man, the Love Boat. Yeah, a little reality series like that. It was a great time. Stationed in Italy, and it was the Sixth Fleet flagship. So we just went from port to port. Barcelona, Spain, Palma, Majorca, Nice, France. So many others. I took leave and went skiing in Switzerland, and then the Italian Alps. And then, as I mentioned, I wrestled when I was in the Navy. So thank you for paying your taxes.
But so that a lot of traveling through the Navy. But then when I got out, and that's where I learned computers. Working at Motorola, traveled a lot there in their international group. Beijing, Taiwan, Singapore, all over Europe. Put a factory in Spain.
Wow.
And
okay, so that had a lot of good things. So you've been all over the place.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Where's your favorite place you ever at?
The favorite place, I think, was Switzerland. It was so clean, the air was so crisp, and it was just beautiful, and so neutral.
Interesting.
It's a neutral country.
So you'd go back there in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. Is there
and
anything?
The skiing is great there too.
Yeah. Anywhere that you haven't been that you really want to go?
Never been to Australia or New Zealand. I'd like to go there. I haven't been to Tahiti or Bora Bora. I'd like to go to those places. I like scuba diving, so I haven't been there.
Well, hey, you gotta shoot big like that too. Yeah. So hopefully, hopefully you get to do those things. All right. Tell me a couple of your favorite things about our community. What draws you the best thing about Grays Lake that you absolutely love?
The people, the community, walking down Center Street, up and down Center Street, from one end to the other, almost to the very end.
Sure.
I mean, actually, just north of the strip mall, the Exchange Club does the cleanup there, so I've done that several times. But I think really it's the restaurants are fun, just being part of the community overall. It's nice. I've met so many different people.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I think it's such
a
neat place to live. I've lived in so many different places. I went to 3 different high schools.
Wow. So you actually have something to compare our town to.
Oh, I do. I do. I had to prepare something for an event once, and I had to kind of talk about all the different places I lived. I think I lived 10 different places before I graduated from high school.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Just because parents, married, divorced, lather, rinse, repeat a few times. So.
And it happens, but you make the best of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Any other highlights that we want to mention? Because we're wrapping up. Any other highlights that you want Grays Lake to know about you, your business, or anything involved in that?
You know, the thing about dementia, Alzheimer's, it's a passion. I got involved with that the very first time in working with my business, or one of the early times. I remember going to a woman's house and to take care of her mother, and it was the very first meeting, and I get there, and the mother gets down on her hands and knees and begins to bark like a dog. The daughter, she was mortified. She's like, "Mom, get up. Mike's here. Get up." And I said, "No, don't worry about it." I went over and stroked her hair and said, "It's okay." And I could almost see the stress melting from the daughter because she saw my acceptance of her mother. And understanding that, you're not going to, Alzheimer's, the brain is changing. You're not going to be able to change them and pull them back into our world. You got to get into theirs. And ever since then, I've really taken an active role in working with others on dementia. I've worked with the community, the village trustees, the mayor, in the fire department, police department, in training the fire department in how to work with people who have dementia, and then the police department, and then took it a step further to make Grays Lake a dementia-friendly community, and we became the first dementia-friendly community in Illinois, and that's written down in Springfield. Since then, so many other communities have popped up. It's even recognized through AARP.
Really?
And then I worked with, that was
so cool,
amazing.
man.
And we're doing it again, but not just through Grays Lake. I'm going to be working with Michelle Bauman to do the entire Avon Township. And things have gotten, we're not teaching people to be experts, but it's more of the acceptance and recognition of someone who has a form of dementia. Fast forward a little bit from that was in, I think it was 2015 or 16. And then a few years ago, I along with Michelle Bauman, worked with the community to make it an age-friendly community. An age-friendly community identifies and creates areas of livability, and there's 8 of them, 8 areas of livability that are part of the community, and we got all that set up within
amazing.
Grays Lake and got that approved and registered through AARP. So that was exciting. Just I'll run down those 8 primary domains.
8 things?
Number 1 is outdoor spaces and buildings. 2 is transportation. 3 is housing. 4 is social participation. 5 is respect and social inclusion. 6 is civic participation and employment. 7 is communication and information. And 8 is community and health services. And if your community has all of those and or plans to develop them and continue forward, then you can be designated as an age-friendly community, which just helps. Imagine if you're looking for a place to live, or you are in Grays Lake and you're like, well, what do I do if I'm 60 or 65 plus? What is here for me? And we put together this list of items for each of those categories.
That's awesome. One of the reasons, selfishly, I love doing this podcast is because I've learned more today about things that I have zero idea about. Yeah. And I hope that people who are listening to this find this very, informational, but also, if anybody's in need of your service, that, I mean, it's a great service. It's not even, it's something people need. And the respect and everything that you give back is amazing. And I commend you for getting the hell out of Motorola and actually doing something, because sounds like it's your life's passion.
It really is, and I am by no means the person doing all this. My staff, we have fantastic people in the office. Everyone in the office has a story of what they've gone through. When we talk about right at home and the different offices, my office has some of the highest retention rate of all right at home offices.
That's great.
We've scored highest in the client and care and caregiver matching within the entire corporation of over 400 offices around the country.
Wow. Good for you, man. Keep up the great work.
That's exciting.
Seriously, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Well,
we're always looking for caregivers, by the way.
Yes,
always
any caregivers out there, contact Mike too. So, and I think we're going to work together, because I think you need your own podcast, because I think you have a ton of valuable information from your caregivers to everything. So you lean on me for whatever you need. I'll be happy to help you.
Appreciate
whatever. All right.
Going to put a plug in with my address?
Plug it in. Let's see. Where do they follow you? Where do they find out more stuff? How do they get a hold of you?
They can call at 847-984-0103, or they can send an email at mike@rightathome.nlc.com. And the folks, NLC is Northern Lake County.
Northern Lake County. And folks, what we'll do here too is in the show notes on whatever platform you're listening on, we'll put this information under there so it's easily accessible as well. So Mike, thank you so much. I respect what you're doing. I think you're awesome, and I'm sorry it took so long to get you on here. It's great, though.
I'm honored. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is some awesome shows that you've had.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it very, very much. So, folks, wherever you're listening, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're at, make sure to subscribe, because you never know what the next guest is going to be on here. But this way, you don't need to check our social media. You don't need to check anything. It'll just pop up on your phone, and it's easy. But I do want to make sure everybody listen to the people you don't know and learn more about our community, because I think that's what brings our community closer together. And the stuff that Mike does brings me back, and listening to Joyce Campbell and talking about her today, is everybody go out and do one random act of kindness today. You never know what people are going through. People are having a bad day. So go out and do something nice for somebody. Kindness is completely contagious. So if all of us just did one tiny little thing, it makes your world better, everybody's world better. So that's my challenge to everybody listening. So
I love it.
Thank you, Grays Lake, for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday, everyone.
Thank you.